I've shared a lot of things on various websites that were kind of fancy looking and kind of doubt their utility in real world uses. So I thought I would share something along the lines of a napping video for people, survivalists and things of that nature that are more interested in things being useful and not necessarily so pretty. Um, Nappers use a lot of specialized tools. Um, this is a copper bopper. This is a notcher that I use to make notches. Now I also use other tools as well, like hammerstones and things. But these copper tools and the more modern tools, you're not really going to find these. You're probably not going to be carrying these out in the field. Um, so what I'm going to do is we're going to have a scenario where you come across some materials out in the bushes, and we're going to make some cutting edges from them. So the first thing I want to show off is this. Now this is TV glass, and the reason I chose this for this video is because I think that it's something that is readily available. People are throwing these things out left and right, these old tube televisions, and the dumps aren't really taking them, so there's a fairly good chance you'll run across one in your travels. Um, so in order to make what I'm trying to make today, you need the TV glass. Now what's significant about this is that this is a piece that's a corner of the tube. A lot of people throw these corners away. Um, it's hard to get a big blade out of them, but it gives you something that in the napping community we call a ridge. So you have a ready-made ridge right here on this corner. Okay? So what we're going to do if I can find my pad, is we're going to do something. We're going to take something off of this called a blade. Now, if you're doing this, you have to make sure that you have eye protection. I do this barehanded, but I've been doing this a long time, and I've got the scars to prove that I do this barehanded. A lot of people like to do it that way for the feel. That's why I do it. Um, but if you're just starting out, or you're in a situation where a deep cut could be deadly, I would recommend wearing a pair of gloves if you already have a pair with you. Okay, so what we want to do is support that ridge on our leg or on the pad, or you can do this in the air. Don't do this on your leg unless you have something covering your leg. This stuff is really sharp. All right, then this is just a rock. Took it out of my mother-in-law's landscaping. So when you're choosing a rock to use for flint knapping, you want something that's kind of sandstony and kind of gritty. A lot of guys will rub it on their pants, and if it catches your pants and pulls them, it's a good rock for this. So what you want to do is you want to braid. Now notice the angle on this edge, 90 degrees or less. Okay, so you can take a flake from here. If this was straight in or was this way, we couldn't take this flake here. But what you want to do is braid that. Make it nice and strong so it'll take the blow without crushing. Then you just want to pop it a good one with your hammerstone. And right along that ridge, we drove off 2 blades. So here's what we got. Now, the edges on these are razor sharp. And this small one. I'm going to cut this piece of leather to show you how sharp they are. But something I like to do when I'm going to work with the blade is take my hammerstone and dull one side. The reason I do this is because if you slip, you're going to hurt yourself. Now I think this is our sharper side here. I better dull that down there too. Okay, so there's our cutting edge. I'm bad about doing this. Put your finger on the back, make sure it's dull. Okay? Now, obviously, this is not a tool as useful as a steel knife. You can't baton this, it'll blow up in your face. Um, what it provides for you is a cutting edge. So if you need cutting chores to be done, this will spare your steel knife's edge for more important tasks. This is more than sufficient to skin a deer, skin a squirrel, skin a fish, gut a fish. I've used these tools for all those things. So there you have it. There's a 4-inch knife blade or so out of a piece of trash and a rock. Now, another technique we can do, and we'll use this smaller blade for that, is we can make an emergency arrowhead with this fairly easily. This is another rock. It's a bigger one. This is called an anvil at this point. This is no longer a hammerstone because of the way we're going to use it. This is a hammerstone. You use a hammerstone and an anvil like this. You put the material on top of the anvil, and then you strike straight down, and it knocks off nice. It's very controllable how you break the piece using an anvil stone in the back. So we're just going to use this stone to shape this. Okay. Now, there we have put a point on the end of it. It is not very pretty, but I guarantee you, if you lash this on the end of a stick and shoot it at something, it's going to go in better than just the stick alone. We want to tidy up the bottom. Use our anvil stone for that. Okay. Flatten out the bottom. Oops. Dropped it. And then I'm going to pick up, this is a chirp flake, and I'm going to make an attempt to notch this weakly, right on top of the anvil stone. Okay, it ain't pretty, but it would do. There you have it. Now, what I did there, in less than 10 minutes, I made an arrowhead. Again, functional. Not a work of art, but functional. And I made 4 inches of cutting blade along this edge. I don't know if you guys can see because of the tape. Now, when you drive a blade off like that, here's what's left. This has become our blade core. And with a little doctoring on this end, we may be able to get more off of this. So get the pad back out. Stiffen that edge up again. Hold it down on the pad. Okay. There's more cutting edge or another quick, easy arrowhead. That one you don't even need the anvil for. There we go. Again, not the sharpest thing in the world at the end, but pretty doggone sharp along the cutting edge. Quick, easy arrowhead out of trash. Alright, let's see if we can get another blade. There's another quick and easy arrowhead. Yeah, and that thing, all the way around that is as sharp, probably sharper than a stainless steel scalpel. It's not very durable, but it's incredibly sharp. Alright, and the thing about Bladecore technology, and here's what it looks like, is that I can walk all the way around the face of this and turn this blocky piece of glass into feet of cutting edge. It's all about the angle. It's all about having a strong, well-defined ridge. See, as you take a flake, see where the flake removals have come off here. You leave behind other ridges, so you can keep walking this way. Boop. Right on the ridges you were just making. I don't know how much farther I can go with this one. There you go. More cutting edge. Or a 30-second arrowhead. And this technology was used in Neolithic times in Europe. This is how they made most of their points. Now okay, now here's a blade that I made earlier out of TV glass using, more modern methods, more traditional methods. It's very thin. The problem with this is it is very weak. This is something that should be looked at, put on a shelf. As far as actual use, this would be fairly useless. If I was to right now take, because of how thin and long it is, take this stone and just tap it right here on the end, it would snap in two pieces. Ideally, when you're using lithic materials, the smaller the better, the less likely. These do not take bending stresses very well. They do not take shock, which is why steel is really a superior tool. The good thing about glass is that it's readily available. It's easy to come by. You can make a lot of cutting edge using the techniques I showed you. I mean, that's sharper than a razor, and that's scary sharp. And you're not really wasting anything. I mean, if this was a piece of chert, this would be too small. Well, for me, I don't have the skills to do it. Too small to throw sparks off with a flint and steel. I do not think, and I'm almost positive, and you guys can correct me on it, you can't throw sparks with a glass blade. So you're not wasting anything in this piece of glass, and these things are really laying around. You want to use some caution when you're breaking a TV apart to get to the glass. The insides are a little, there's a powder coating on the inside you want to wash off and things, and use a little caution there. But there you go. Good luck, and hopefully you guys can comment and tell me some things I said that were wrong. But you guys, thank you. Please subscribe.